Hey Don, this week we're going to be trying something brand new to the state of Michigan.
Hey, I'm very impressed. Buzzard's Roost, and we're going to check out 6 of their offerings.
Stay tuned.
Whiskey, take my mind. Let me leave it all behind. Take me somewhere I can find someone to believe.
These bottles just landed last week, and there were 6, so I grabbed all 6 of them. I said, why not? Send them. My good friend, Mr. Don Williams, author of the bourbonfool.com. Don, how are you?
Hey, Charlie, I hated that you had to get all 6, but, I'm up to the task.
Exactly, dude. So we've walked by these bottles in Kentucky numerous times, picked a few up, never pulled the trigger.
Yep.
So here we're pulling the trigger big time. Yeah, 6 times we'll be pulling the trigger.
So this is an exclusive, first time we've ever reviewed any Buzzard's Roost, and actually the first time we've ever sampled Buzzard's Roost.
No, never had it, never tried it, so here we are. I'm pretty excited to jump into it. We do have 6. We are going to break into 2 videos, and at the end of the videos, I say we'll kind of give our rankings of
right,
where they line up, right?
Right, and for those of you who've never sampled these, this will be a good way for you to see the cross-section of 6 different varieties.
Yeah.
And these people are known for barrel maturation. They worked with Independent Stave to create some custom barrels. They're using a char number 1 on their barrels, and all of their oak is seasoned for 18 months.
Wow. Okay. All right. Very cool. I'm going to go ahead and start opening some up because we got a lot to do.
We do.
You want to go ahead and give a little background of what we know about them, what you found out about them? And the first one I'm going to open up is their American whiskey.
American whiskey. 2 folks met at a barrel pick, and that's interesting because, you and I have done quite a few barrel picks.
I was just going to say.
Judy Hollis-Jones and Jason Browner met at a barrel selection. They became friends and then talked about creating their own bourbon brand. Judy comes from a culinary background. She was in the food industry for a long time. Mm-hmm. And Jason Browner owns the Bourbon's Bistro in Louisville. That's where he started getting into the bourbon business. And he was very, very instrumental in barrel selections. He was doing a lot of barrel selections.
Okay, yeah.
And he was actually pretty good at it because Jim Rutledge,
our buddy Jim Rutledge, yeah,
actually said that he had a great palate for selecting whiskey. So that is a good pedigree to start with.
Yeah. People have told us that.
That's true.
Okay, so we're going to start with the American whiskey. What do you know about it?
So the American whiskey, 105 proof. It's a blend. So American whiskey is 105 proof. And even though it is not a bourbon, it's actually secondary matured in used bourbon barrels.
Okay.
So it is an unblended American whiskey that then rests in some used bourbon barrels. And it's a high corn mash bill. So it's 75 corn, 25 rye, 4 malted barley. So kind of up our alley.
So it could have been a bourbon if it wasn't in a used barrel, correct?
Well, actually, I think that, there's a reason why they're calling it American whiskey rather than a bourbon, because they're not afraid of using the bourbon on other bottles.
Sure, okay. Yeah.
And I'm not really sure why.
All right. Well, let's see what they've done here. Yeah. I'm excited it's a high corn. A lot of flavor there. Wow.
Actually, a lot more flavor than I was expecting.
For sure.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's really nice.
That's really nice.
Off to a good start.
I'm really impressed with that so far. Basic caramel, basic vanilla, good rye spice.
Good rye spice. I was just going to say that. Yeah.
And it's not on the real high scale of rye in the mash bill, but it's really good.
Yeah.
For what it is.
For sure.
Now I'm really anxious to move forward.
Yeah, we're ready to move on. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it does have a lot of rye though. For that mash bill you talk about. I wonder if they blended something else with it, or maybe that's why it's a whiskey. I don't know.
It's also getting rested in that bourbon barrel, so it's picking up some additional oak characteristics there.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we're going to move on to this is their toasted American oak straight bourbon whiskey.
Yep. So this is a blend of 4- and 5-year-old double barreled bourbons.
Ooh.
we've seen a lot of trending towards double barrel.
Sure.
Okay. And this is interesting to see.
So it must be toasted and double barreled then. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Cool. Very unique.
Immediately, it is much smoother.
Yeah.
105 proof also. Get some natural baking spices, but actually not quite as complex as the first one.
No. Mm-mm. Yeah. And you don't. There's not much sweet notes to it. Not much there.
No.
Yeah. Different. Very different.
Right.
Wow. I'm not sure I can put my finger on what I'm tasting there.
So that's what we're going to see. We're going to see the trends as we go through all these.
Yeah.
And over the 2 weeks, we're going to compare 6 different varieties,
Yeah.
and we'll kind of see where they fall.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's crack this last one open here. And this is barrel strength. Ooh, we're at 116 proof on this, buddy.
Yep,
So-
116.1 blend of 4 and 6 year old whiskeys,
This is bottle number 1000.
and aged in proprietary barrels. So again, they're
Oh,
working
okay.
with Independent Stave to make some creative barrels to
No.
add to the flavor profiles.
Now, would that be re-aged or is original aging? Have they been around long
I
enough that
believe-
they've aged it for 4 to 6 years?
Well-
or are they putting them in a secondary barrel? Do you
I think a lot of what they're doing is secondary, but full disclosure, a lot of this is Indiana juice.
Yeah, sure.
It's probably MGP.
Yeah.
And what I think they're doing is they might be buying some raw distillate from
Yeah.
MGP and then putting it in their proprietary barrel.
Because they've been around for a little while. Like they're not.
Yeah.
We've seen them down south for a long time.
Yeah, founded
so-
in 2019, so not a
they-
long time.
So yeah.
You
Okay.
know.
So yeah, they couldn't really have a 6 year. So all right. Cheers. Similar to this one.
Yeah, very similar.
Very similar. Same kind of flavor profile. That same thing I can't put my finger on. Still can't put my finger on.
Higher proof,
Yeah.
much longer finish.
Nice hug.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Pretty light on the caramel, so
it is, but it's got a little bit more sweetness
yes.
than the second
A
one.
little bit. Yeah.
So one of the things that I come up with right away is
Uh-huh.
we probably should have tried these earlier on. They're really, again, you walk through Kentucky liquor stores,
And you've already spent $500-600 and you have to make a decision. Yeah.
and every time we go down there, there's 20 new brands on the shelf.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very hard to keep up with it. Right now, these are very intriguing to me,
Yeah, for sure.
and I'm very impressed. These folks are not distillers. They are sourcing whiskey
Yep.
and then putting their special touches on it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so far, I think it's really unique and really good. And it reminds me of a similar story to Penelope.
Absolutely. 100%. I was just going to say that. Yeah, kind of like the Penelope folks.
Right.
But yeah, they've done a great job with these 3. It makes me excited. We got 3 more.
And everyone, you're going to want to stay tuned because watch next week's video because we're going to rank them.
Absolutely. So come back next week. Thanks for checking us out. This week you can try these at Charlie's. So come in, give them a shot, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Thank you for watching, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We both go for the barrel proof.
Not our first rodeo.
Exactly.